A bulletin from CBS News.
This was the day that the news went live on television. And somehow we needed to be there for the people of the United States and tell them what had happened.
CBS News will begin continuous coverage of the day's events.
We knew that they needed us then more than ever. And we knew that we had a trust to keep. So we did our best. We were essentially making television news up as we went, but that was our job.
The day 50 years ago today that President Kennedy was killed was a watershed event, both for history and for TV news. Professor James Baughman from the UW School of Journalism and Mass Communication joining us this morning. And we were kids. I was 13 when this happened, and what a dark period. I was glued to the television. Of course, at that age, I was thinking of working in this business at the time, radio news, not really in television, and could not stop watching it.
Yeah, I think that was true for a lot of families. In the overwhelming number of homes, all you had were network stations. So if you turned on the television, and I think most Americans were driven to do so. They felt they had to, and they did. And it was nonstop, no commercials through the funeral on Monday, the 25th.
Starting with that motorcade, I mean, here are the Kennedys at the prime of their life. This president was just adored by people in the country, and Jackie as well. And then this assassination in Dallas was just, I mean, I think the world changed on this afternoon in Dallas.
It may have changed, but I don't know if you felt this way, Rob, at the time, because I was a little younger than you, but that it seemed incredible that a president could be assassinated.
Yes.
You didn't associate that with the United States, maybe a Latin American country or something. It seemed unbelievable. I was considering this last night. You sort of assumed the Secret Service would protect him. You know, it was shock. No president had been assassinated in 62 years. So.
And we saw the Secret Service agent who jumped on the back of the motorcade, and he is still living with this. What could I have done to save the president? It's just it's remarkable.
Well, and if he hadn't been wearing his neck brace, which is another depressing thought.
And there's that iconic photo of LBJ alongside Jackie Kennedy taking the oath of office in Air Force One, and she wore that pink suit, and someone had asked her, "Do you want to change the suit?" She said, "No, I want them to see what they've done."
Right.
It's just.
And she wore it on the flight back to Washington, and she was wearing it when she came off the plane.
Oh my gosh! And I think one of the most shocking things that I remember this to this day when I was watching. This is when they were bringing Lee Harvey Oswald down from the city jail to go to the county jail, and I remember. My dad was in the kitchen, and I was, again, glued in front of the TV, and I said to him, "Dad, I think someone's going to shoot this guy." And Tom Pettit, I remember, because I was watching NBC, and he was 6 feet away from. And I'll never forget, he really, as a reporter, he really kept his cool. He said twice, Lee Harvey Oswald's been shot, he's been shot. And it was just one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen.
NBC was the only one of the three networks to have a camera live on that event. CBS and ABC just missed it. And in fact, Pettit wrote later that a detective had for some reason told him to stand where he did. If he hadn't, he would have been in the line of fire.
Oh my gosh. Oh, for heaven's sakes. But this, and then we followed by the whole conspiracy theories and all that, and I don't know if I really don't put much stock in that. I mean, 50 years, you think if there was some kind of conspiracy, something would have surfaced by now. But
right.
But my gosh, it's still to this day, 50 years later, it's such a moving thing to watch. It certainly changed our business of television, which we can get into a little bit later, because we're going to have the professor. We're going to have you back, do another segment in our next half hour.
Okay.
Thank you.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago. Vice President Lyndon Johnson has left the hospital in Dallas, but we do not know to where he has proceeded. Presumably, he will be taking the oath of office shortly and become the 36th President of the United States.
Those words from Walter Cronkite on CBS on November 22nd, 1963, and it changed America. It was a day those who were alive will never forget, and we don't forget. It's just, geez, it just makes your knees weak watching that. UW professor James Baughman joining us once again. That this whole event, this changed television news, and as one CBS executive commented, they were kind of making this up as they went along.
Absolutely. An account at ABC, the news division literally took over the network for 4 days. All commercials were off the air. And but they had to improvise. Again, remember, they were dealing with using film a lot. They couldn't, at NBC, they wanted to show some footage of Kennedy's inauguration. They couldn't find any. They had to, they went to a vault in New Jersey and found something to put on the air. But there was a lot of improvisation. I will say that one thing you will notice if you get a chance to look at some of the recorded coverage is the anchors keep reassuring us everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
It's almost like a parent, and C-SPAN has run some of NBC's footage, and that's what they keep telling us. Everything's going to be fine, and so forth. And it's often said since that was one of those moments, Nixon's resignation was another, where the networks wanted to reassure the country, keep the country together.
Yeah. You know, I have to touch on the funeral that followed 4 days later. One of the most tragic visions I've ever seen in this country. The carriage, and of course John saluting, and the horse that had the boots were in backwards.
Right, right.
And
it wouldn't stay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't stay. It kept trying to get off.
Kept trying to get off. Oh my gosh! And every branch of the military, of course, JFK was a Navy veteran, also instrumental in the formation of the Navy SEALs and Green Berets. And the Peace Corps, which is kind of a contrast, but just a dark time. But you're right. I remember Huntley, Brinkley, and Cronkite, and all of them reassuring the country that we'd recover.
And of course, you didn't want them to be in a panic. Oh my goodness!
No,
and so forth.
Goodness, no.
But the other thing about the funeral, that not since the state funeral for Edward VII in 1910 had so many heads of state attended the state funeral. It was pretty dazzling, pretty remarkable.
Sure was. Gosh, if you ever have a chance to watch any of this and they're repeating it, especially if you're a history buff, take a look at this stuff. Well, Professor, thank you for your contributions this morning.
Happy to be here.
All right.